Hello, how are you today? I'm a little bit later today than I normally am, but hey, it doesn't really matter, does it? So, we've been talking about patterns, right? And today we're going to do a pattern interrupt, or like fixing patterns to achieve what it is that we want, to become motivated. So we're going to fix patterns to be motivated. So let's dive into that, okay? And we've already been talking. If you've been following me for a while, you know that you choose your thoughts, and then you create your feelings, the emotions, and those together is what creates the behavior, who you are, your identity, right? And we can change it. It's not fixed, which is so exciting, to have learned over the past few decades of research that we can change our thoughts. We have a choice, right? And that is amazing that we do have that choice. So it's actually been seen on a brain scan that the thought fires and then the emotion. So thought comes first and then the emotion. So that's what's so fascinating, to know that we can just change that thought, which then the emotion changes, right? And we know that when we put that thought and that emotion together, that becomes our identity, it becomes who we are, And so if we don't like who we're being at the moment, then change the thought so that we change that emotion, right? So it almost makes it kind of simple when you think of it that way. So I think it was just fascinating that they could see that on a brain scan, is the firing and which was the thought and which was the emotion. I thought that was amazing. Now, most of our beliefs are created when we are younger than 3, from 0 to 3. And then also they're created throughout the development of our brain, which is generally the age of 25. And then for those who have neurodiversity, it might go on into the 30s. And so the brain is developing all along the way, and it's very impressionable, to the thoughts and the feelings, and everything's impressionable. But guess what? It's changeable. Even after you hit that age of 25 of maturation, you can still be in control of who you are, your identity, by choosing your thought, and which fires your emotion, right? That's really super exciting, because we're not stuck in one place. We're constantly growing and constantly moving on. And that's a really good thing, because even when you are in your 30s, your 40s, your 50s, if something's just not working the way you want it to work, you have control. You actually there are patterns or things that we can do to help with thinking, doing different thinking and thought processes and emotions and all that kind of stuff. So we can change the wiring, so to speak, in our brain, which is a really good thing. So, hi, I'm Jean Harville, and I am a certified master neurocoach, and I'm also the founder of the Facebook group Raising Motivated Leaders. I'm also the creator of Raising Unique Human Beings. I just think that's such an awesome title, because we all are unique, right? And for those of you who followed me, neurodiversity is a big thing for me. That's my path, that's my passion. That is who I was as a teacher, as a special ed teacher, working with an amazing community of kids, and then also being a parent and helping other parents to work through some things that their kids were going through. And so I have come at this for the last 30 some years. I adopted my own, and one of which is neurodiverse as well. So I just think it's just fascinating that this has been given to me and creates different steps along the way, right? And so I am the go-to leader for all things like neurodiversity. I also have created the Connected Mom Truth, which is so important that we understand who we are, what are our truths, and who are we being, that down deep truth of who we are. And I think that when we hang on to that and we hold on to that and praise it and raise it high, then it gives us that's who I am, or this is not who I am. It gives us that barometer, I guess, a kind of fence post there to knowing who we are and who we don't want to be, and then we know that we can make those changes, right? Okay, so our identities and our beliefs, they come out of stories, What's the story you tell yourself? What is something that happened in your past and you have run that wiring in your brain over and over again that it becomes a story and that it becomes true or real to you? When in actuality, if somebody else was looking at that same story or event, they would come up with a different story. So oftentimes that we walk around with our stories, and they become a part of us and who we are. And we don't even realize that this is happening. Have you ever introduced yourself like a round robin thing? Everyone says one thing about you, and after you finish talking about yourself, you're like, why did I say that? I don't want to be known for that. That's not exactly true. That's not truly who I am. What made me say that? Because it's a story that's ingrained into your brain, and that's what the story's coming out. So that right there is a red flag to say, I need to work on my story. If that's not really who I truly am or want to be, I get to change that by shifting my thinking and creating that new that image, that emotion, and creating that new belief of who I really truly am, right? Because at different point, we have that basic core of who we are, but we also layer on top of that as we go through life. Different incidences, different things happen to us, and so that's going to change our outlook just a bit. And so when we really truly understand who we are, we can hold on to those things, right? Now, our brain has a negativity bias. When I heard this, I said, no wonder things can be hard at times, because no wonder I'm so hard on myself. Our negativity bias, 9 times bad things are negative to 1 time positive. We're telling ourselves 9 times more the negative than the 1 time great. We can say, yeah, but I can do this, yeah, but here comes all the negative stuff. Have you ever found yourself saying that? Or you may say this out loud, but inside of yourself, you're like, yeah, right, I don't think that's true. Remember the time when, you know what, that's not true at all. And so now this big important thing that you just declared as who you are goes away, and it's been replaced by that negative talk that's going on in your brain. So this is just normal and natural. This came from caveman days when our ancestors were looking out for, lions and tigers and whatever else is out there. We didn't have the protective systems that we have now, as such as homes, houses, cars. It was always needing to look out for yourself, and so our brains wired that way. They're wired into a negativity bias, if I can speak here, negativity bias. And so that, is difficult to overcome. It's like we need to be aware at all times of what we are saying. Does it match up to what we are believing, right? And our identity. And, it makes it more difficult when we are constantly saying negative things about ourselves, right? So have you ever, growing up or even now as an adult, tried to learn a new skill and immediately got it? Yes, mastered it immediately. There are those people, those outlier people that can do anything that they want at any point and master it. But that's far and few. It's just not. It's not that common. And maybe they have a natural ability for playing soccer, a natural ability for cheerleading or doing acrobats. Where it might take me forever to be able to learn some of those moves. However, most people cannot pick up a new skill automatically, right? And because there are some who have the natural ability, but then there's many of us who can't pick up that skill naturally. It takes practice. We want to practice it. I'm gonna go back to my childhood just for a second here. I don't know if I've talked about this or not, but I took piano lessons while I was in school. I didn't choose to do piano lessons. My mom said, you will learn to play the piano. And I was always fighting with her, like, why? Give me a reason. I don't see why I need to play the piano. I'm not going to be a concert pianist. And what is the point behind it? Of course, later on in life, in hindsight, I can look back and see the value of this, of learning to play an instrument. But I hated to practice. Absolutely hated it. And I found it to be quite boring. playing the scales up and down, the very simple baby tunes and songs, and I had to practice that. I had to practice with those types of piano chords and scales so that I could eventually get to the larger ones, take those first baby steps and move up. But I didn't like it. I kicked my feet literally when in 9th grade my mom said, okay, it's time to start piano lessons up for the next school year. And I literally, I've never ever done this, got on the floor on my back, kicked my feet and said, no, no, no. And I couldn't believe I actually did that, because that's so out of character for me. And I thought I have to do something really drastic to get my mom to hear me. And I did that. And she went, okay, I guess you're really serious about this. I will give you 1 year off and 1 year only. And I'm like, fine, 1 year. Great. Well, guess what I did during that year? This is a pattern, right? I would practice piano. It became a pattern for me. But I would dig through my mom's music and my grandmother's music, and I would find hard stuff that really lit me up. I fell in love with Bela Bartok. He's a Hungarian composer, and he composes in the minor key. I love minor keys. It just does something to me. So I would make my way through these pieces. I would find all the chords, because I had enough piano background for years to be able to be okay on the piano, right? But I just picked through those pieces that it just lit me up. I loved playing them. I wasn't good at them, but that was okay. I would get better each time I played them. But I just fell in love with his music, as well as other composers that were way above my head, but the sound that they gave me, I absolutely loved. Like, I fell in love with it, and I was passionate about it. So when my mom said, okay, we're going to get piano lessons for the next year, I said, fine, yes, on one condition, that you find me a piano teacher that will take me through this type of music. This is what I want to play. And she did. And she found an amazing woman. And I actually, after 3 years working with her, I actually entered college as a music major. And get this, my instructor was my mom's 4th cousin. She did not know this until she did genealogy, but I was actually working with, I guess would be my 5th cousin. And he was a piano virtuoso. He was a magnificent, he was an entertainer. He had studied in Vienna and was teaching at the school where I was going to school. And he performed amazingly. And his wife was a performer, an actress and a singer. And I thought, when my mom found out that this man, my instructor, was her 4th cousin, I thought, okay, this is too weird. It's just too weird. But that changing my pattern of thinking about music and playing piano just did wonders for me. It motivated me to move into music that really lit me up, and I love playing it to this day. And it was just so interesting how I hated my thought around piano lessons was, I hate piano, and it gave me like, I dreaded it. I didn't enjoy it. But then when I found something that lit me up, I fell in love with it. So that motivated me to want to learn the hard pieces. I needed a challenge. I want music that just really, could, in my ear, just really do something. Because the sounds really, how music motivates, or music really elicits emotion. And that's what it was, that those sounds elicited emotion in me. And so I felt like, I am going to master this piece because I love this piece. And that was the emotion that it lit up, right, for me. So, I didn't, and it was to the point where I did not even mind being corrected. Play it this way, play it that way. You need to do the timing. And all the things that I was learning before that I resented, I did not resent that anymore, because I wanted to become better at what I was lit up about. I was heart connected to this music. It did something to me inside, literally. I didn't have to even think about it, but it was something about it that, I don't know, just really connected with me, who I was. So my belief in myself became, I can figure out hard things. And even to this day, if something is challenging, I can figure out hard things. That is what I have held on to from that whole, scenario. And that if something is hard, give me something to challenge. And so I can figure out hard things, and I love a challenge. And this is what brought me to who I am today. And I'm adaptable. I can change and I can adapt. I'm pretty laid back. I love that challenge. I'm determined, and I will not give up until I figure it out. So those beliefs were created in me when I was a teenager and through those early years, because I figured out hard things, right? And that was you can change your thoughts, and they affect your emotions. And these two things became the identity, and like who I am. So let's bring this into current family. Okay, so listen to the emotions you are feeling, and especially the feelings, we can think about, what I'm feeling, is that coming from my heart? Is it heart connected, or is it from my head? We've talked about the difference between the head and the heart. The head is all the doing, do this, do that, gotta do dishes, gotta do this, do that, whatever. The heart connect, this is the part that is the emotion. And this is what the passion, this is the passion that you have, and the heart, where you're connected with your heart. So, it becomes like a bit of tweaking, sometimes taking those patterns that we don't like, we don't want, and tweaking them to a point where, this is interesting, I really like this. So this is how you can kind of think about your teens. When your teens are coming to you about learning something new, ask them, where are they feeling this? Are they feeling this in their head because like all their friends are doing it, they feel like they need to do it too? Or is this a passion? Is this a heart passion that they're feeling, that doesn't matter that no one else is doing it, that they truly feel that in their body, in their heart, in their tummy, wherever it is for them, they feel this is something that they must do because it is who they are. And so I know those conversations are going to go like this over our teens' heads, but if we start talking to them about, is this a heart decision, or is this a heart decision, or is this a head decision? Maybe they might. You can give examples, like what would a head decision be? And then what would a heart decision be? A passionate, something that you're passionate about. And sometimes when we start talking about those things, they're going to think we're like really crazy, like most teens do. But they're hearing it, they listen to it, and it will connect. It may not connect right away, but at some point it will connect with them. Even as an adult, that's what she meant. This thing I'm doing is a head connected thing. It really doesn't turn me on. I have no interest in it. But this over here is a heart passion that I have, and I draw to that. And so that is my direction. That's what's going to motivate me to move into whatever it is that I need to do, right? So there's that connection there. So I just wanted to, I have an announcement to make. We have coming up, and this will be starting, this is next Tuesday, an event. I'm going to start giving you the links so you can register. It is called Free to Be Unique Thinkers and Learners, and this is a roundtable discussion, and we're going to have 7 expert speakers, including myself. We're going to be speaking on college transitions, what to do to prepare to from college into from high school into college, advocacy, how to advocate for yourself, mental well-being, the teen brain with ADHD, dyslexia, autistic brain, and we'll even teach a really cool activity that can be done to help change thinking, okay, the way the thinking is. So I want this opportunity will be coming up for you to click the link, and I hope to have it by tomorrow. But watch the email so that you can register. This will be a one-day event. Next Tuesday, it starts. I don't know which time zone you're living in, but I'm going to talk about Pacific time, PT. The California time, it starts at 9 o'clock PT, and it will go every 30 minutes. There'll be a different speaker, all the way up to about 12:31 or something like that, okay? And it'll be on Zoom. And you'll be receiving all this information after you've registered that you want to come to this event. I think it's fascinating what the speakers are going to be talking on, and I think everything that they're talking on is what we want to know and understand about our teens. Okay, we'll be talking about the neurology of the brain, talking about like I was just saying, the ways to be prepared to go from that high school into college. We have someone who talks about college, choosing the right college for your neurodiverse teen. Okay, so there's a lot of really great information for those of you who have teens, and that that's something that's up the road, and you're kind of wondering like what is this going to look like, and how am I going to navigate that. So I think it's will be very, very useful. Okay, so I'm hoping to have the link in the next day, hopefully by tomorrow, so that you can go ahead and register for that event. Like I said, it will take off Tuesday the 9th at 9 a.m. Pacific time. You can take your time zone and figure out what that is for you. And I also have a chart out there too, eventually, where you can actually look at it and find your time, the beginning time and the ending time. We'll have 30 minutes, and actually the speaker will speak for about 15-20 minutes, and then we'll have a Q&A session. This is what's so cool about this event. These are not pre-recorded videos at all. The speaker will be right there on Zoom. So the last 10 minutes or so will be a Q&A, where you get to ask questions of that speaker. And then we'll switch to the next speaker. They'll speak for 10 or 15 minutes, and then you get to ask questions of that speaker on that topic. So this is what's going to be, this is so cool about it, is that you will get to ask the experts if you have a specific question that pops up, to have them answered. So I'm super, super excited. And they're bringing free gifts. There'll be some free gifts that you'll be able to grab as well that will go along with the talks that they have. Super excited about it, so look for it in the email, okay? So I'm going to sign off for now. Y'all have a great day. Bye.